Welcome to the Concordia College Football Show with Coach Terry Horan. I'm Norman Bell. Coach, Saturday just didn't go according to plan, I don't think.
No, it's not even close to what we wanted it to kind of all end, and just got to give credit to Jamestown. They executed extremely well, and we just did a lot of uncharacteristic things of Cobber football. We just didn't execute very well, really, in all three phases to have a successful outcome. And I mean, our kids, they were working hard. We just had a lot of miscues, you know. Like I said, uncharacteristic stuff of Cobber football. That you know, the nice thing about it all, it's all coachable, and we can certainly work on that as we get into this week.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a look at some of the first half video from the game.
I believe this is just kind of a little fetch pass out. We get cut. Moline does a nice job getting back outside our corner there. They get about a 4 or 5 yard gain. You know, their opening field goal attempt goes a little bit wide, which we dodged a bullet because they did have a short field on us. And we didn't get very good pressure off of this either. I thought throughout the day, it's something we talked about last night in our meetings. Our field goal block and our PAT block, we need to get a lot better. We got to work at this a little bit more to put a little more pressure on them. But we dodged a bullet here.
Get the ball back, and it looks like the guys are kind of getting into a groove.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We just needed to settle down, you know. I think sometimes our guys think that we get the ball, we're going to march right down the field and score. We were a 3 and out. It's our second possession now, and we just wanted to get our composure back in here a little bit. We run a power play. They kind of out-schemed us on this. We probably should have gone the other side, but we're running a Tommy formation there with our tight end and running a power play to Chad Johnson, our fullback. He picks up a couple yards. Coming back with a toss to the backside. Guys are trying to reach and get some outside leverage to get our speedster to the perimeter there. They do a really nice job of really keeping us in check that way right there. That's that free safety, number 37, coming back up the alley. This confusion, you know, we had this throughout the day, and what ended up in this play is we sent in a play, and the play was sent in wrong, so then there was confusion on our formation, so we had to burn a timeout there. We had to burn a few other timeouts during the day on some special team miscues where we didn't maybe have the right guy on the field, and you know, this is stuff that we go over and over and over in practice, so we were really disappointed in that not being focused, and now we just got to take a deep breath and get back to the next play, because the next play is the most important play. We still have yet to really kind of establish ourselves. There's another power play. Our guys are just getting off the football. Chad Johnson, our fullback, number 21 there, made a couple nice reads, ended up getting about 6 yards off of this.
It seemed like there are a lot of plays where you got a lot of good push up the middle.
Yeah, and we've got a veteran crew there, you know. We've got guys that have played a lot of football for us, so we expect that. And we've got good backs, so we're just getting in a rhythm, you know, and we really, you know, once we were starting to, here's another good power play by us, another 4 yard gain. You know, once we started kind of feeling ourselves and we were in a good rhythm in the game, then we would have a turnover, and then we gave the ball right back to Jamestown. So we just never solidified ourselves throughout the day offensively. Here's a little fetch route. We did a really nice job blocking on the edge, and that's Dylan Herkler with about a 12 yard gain. Got a nice cut block.
And
Seahawk.
Once again, plays like that require a lot of timing.
No question about it. Yeah, you do it 1,000 times a week, you know, in practice, and sometimes I think your kids roll their eyes at us. But you know, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Here again, we're running another power play. It was a 4th down play, I believe. And we got the
fumble.
first down.
He fumbled.
Oh, was that the fumble?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, we're moving the ball, and then unfortunately the helmet went right on the football and gave them the ball right about at midfield.
And they turn around a few plays later and score.
Yep. And we just didn't carry the number 2 there, and it was a breakdown in our secondary, and it's unfortunate, but those things happen, and you got to rebound from them, and they made a great play. It's a little play action.
Other than this play, they didn't really beat you with a lot of big plays there. So.
No, and they had no big running plays. I believe they had 6 pass plays over 15 yards, and that's something that we keep track of, and it just we kind of hurt ourselves most of the day. We just never could solidify ourselves offensively. Our Ds were on the field quite a bit in the second half, and here's a little option play, and they actually defend it pretty well. Probably defended it too well going outside, where Mike could cut up and use his running ability.
Yeah, that's definitely a weapon in your offense.
Yeah, no question about it. So we're going back to the weak side here, and take away the dive. The pitch is there. Nobody's taking quarterback. Mike scrambles, gets us out into pretty good field position now.
And right at this point in the game, you can sort of feel you guys picking up momentum, and
we have this.
Yeah.
That's in 2 upperclassmen. Again, that's offensively. We practice this so much. That's just really disappointing that had to happen, and it happened a couple times. So, those are drive killers, and we just got to regroup from it.
Now in the second quarter.
Yeah. So Mike's coming out, and ball slips out of his hand. Just one of those things. It was hot, his hand's slippery. He does have Jason Montoni kind of slipping. But Jason's job is to stay in and block the edge there. Mike probably could have ran too. He had some green grass, something we talked about last night with him.
And they turn around right away.
They turn around, and decent coverage by Landon Moline. The kid just made a great catch. He adapted well to where the ball was thrown, and we just didn't make a play. But he was there.
Yeah. Didn't really get a lot of good pressure on Collette this game.
No, he was getting rid of the ball pretty quick. Balls like this, wish we'd have had a little more pressure, but they did a good job at protecting him. He didn't get hit much, but there, Landon Moline, he was in the right spot, and the kid adjusted well to the ball in the air and made a great catch. And now you find yourself down 14-0, and it's still in the first half. It's not to a point where you can just throw out your game plan totally. It's still manageable, and we obviously like to run the football, which we feel sets everything else up. Here's an option play that Mike reads well. They take the pitch away, and nobody's on quarterback, and he reads it, and once he gets into open field, he's a good runner.
He really made that look easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did a nice job.
He read it really well. Again, we're coming back weak side. He cuts it up well.
It's a nice block by Josh Berg there.
Yeah, Bergie, he's played a lot of football for us. Him and Asprey, both our left guard and left tackle, are very, very good. This was disappointing for us. We work PATs a ton in practice, and these are costly points that we lost. And then we missed a short field goal as well. There's another 3 points, and as soon as you feel like you're kind of starting to come back and get back into the game, and then when you don't convert, that demoralizes you, and they're tough to come back from. But we've got to be able to make those.
And that's it for the first half highlights. We're now joined by senior captain and linebacker Hank Van Liew. Hank, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from?
Yeah, I'm from Snoqualmie, Washington, about 30 minutes out of Seattle. And yeah.
How'd you find your way all the way to Moorhead, Minnesota?
I mean, it was kind of crazy, but I got into contact with Coach Horan, Coach Bakken, and started talking with them a little bit, got a little excited about the place, took a couple visits, and it was definitely a leap of faith, and went for it and haven't regretted it ever since. So
4 years of playing football here. What's your favorite thing about Concordia football?
man, just the family. I mean, especially for me, as a guy, I don't really have any family here or anything, so Concordia is my Midwest family. So ever since I've been here, it's always been so welcoming, and just feels right being here, and just being able to put on the maroon and gold every week is such an honor, and it's crazy how fast it's gone, but it's been a very good experience so far, and I'm excited for the rest of this year.
And what are you going to get your degree in?
Marketing.
Marketing.
Yep.
What do you want to do with that?
You know, I'm pretty open right now, floating between staying here or going back home to Seattle, but you know, anything in the marketing field, from branding, you know, product management, things like that.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about the academic environment around Concordia.
It's definitely a little bit tougher. You know, you really have to be diligent with your work. You got to be on top of, you know, your studies and things like that. But you know, if you just put yourself in a good routine and you know, make a conscious effort to, you know, study every night and things like that, it's definitely manageable.
Your parents get out to any games?
Yeah, my parents get to come out a couple times a year. My dad's coming out this next week, so that's gonna be really sweet. And then usually makes a couple games out to Minneapolis. It's a little bit easier to get over there and, you know, go to a game and then shoot back. So, yeah.
Being that this is your senior year,
Yeah.
what do you think you're gonna miss the most?
Oh man, just probably the relationships above anything. You know, I was actually talking to some of my friends who just graduated, and they were always just telling me, you know, cherish practice, which is something you usually, you're always just like practice or whatever, but you know, those are the times where you're definitely, you know, with your brothers and experiencing, you know, some of the best parts about this program. So definitely just the relationships, you know, just fall camps, things like that. Just hanging out with all the guys is definitely going to be something I'm really going to miss.
And being a senior
Yeah.
leader on the defense,
Yeah.
a lot of the young guys look to you for guidance. How's it been working with the new crop of Gobbers?
It's been good. We got a bunch of guys that are, you know, hungry, and they've been waiting for their shot. You know, I think guys like Cody Fox, you know, who have, you know, been working their tails off since, you know, they were a freshman to try and get on the bus, to get on the field on D. We just have a bunch of guys that really want to be on that field and really want to give it their all. So it's been super fun just to see the effort and, you know, the passion out of some of the guys that, you know, really just haven't had that shot. You know, I could kind of feel a little bit of me, because I was the kid. I had a couple guys in front of me last couple of years where I haven't been able to be on the field as much. So just kind of that, you know, hungry for being on the field is something I noticed, and it's good to see people like Matt Arndt, you know, who's been there a couple times, you know, just kind of being that sense of, you know, just calmness for the rest of the guys. So that's been really cool to see.
Well, you know what? Thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
Hank, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah,
man.
thank you. Appreciate it.
And we're now joined by defensive coordinator Kyle Bakken. Coach Bakken, thanks for joining us today.
Well, appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. Hey, listen, I know you guys do something special defensively. It's called a black shirt defense. Can you just give me the origin of it and how you come up with it, and what does it take to be a member of the black shirt?
You know, our black shirt, part of our defense really talks about our mentality and how we want to play, and obviously the origin of that, for those that have been around for a while, remember Nebraska and their defense, and so we really just took that and wanted to build it into our program and talk about it being our style of play, our mentality, and our leadership on and off the field. And so guys, they earn their black shirt letters each week by making team plays. Could be, you know, third down, getting off the field, QB hits, pass breakups, things like that. And it's a pride deal for our guys, and I think it's a thing that really builds camaraderie within our team. But most importantly, it sets that mentality when they step on the field and how they're going to play.
Okay. You lost a really good linebacker in Eric Bay last year, actually one of your team leaders. How's the leadership coming so far this year?
You know, to be honest, it's been great. You know, we've had Hank Van Liew in our program, and we knew what he was and what he was going to bring to the table, and he really has done a great job. You know, I think in the years he's been, you know, mentored by those guys that have graduated and saw how they led, and not only off the field, but their play on the field. And he's picked that right up, and he's got the respect of the players and the coaches, I think, and he's done a fantastic job with it.
And what style of defense do you like to run? And tell me what are you trying to stop the offense from doing?
You know, we're a 3-4 defense. Our number one priority is to stop the run, you know, and trying to get teams to be a little one-dimensional now. We want to be sound in what we do and bring pressure and do those types of things, given different looks. But ultimately, we talk a lot about being disciplined in our roles and our responsibilities and playing sound and telling guys that you know, they're going to earn every yard, earn every touchdown, and when they line up, we're going to line up and be very sound in what we do.
As far as the 3-4 defense, if I'm not mistaken, you have the nose guard position is really important. How's the depth along the defensive front?
You know, this year our nose guard position is doing really well. You know, from a depth standpoint, we've got you know, 3 guys in that position right now that each brings something a little different to the table, and so we feel pretty good about the depth. 2 of those 3 are playing significant time, and our third one is a freshman that's come in, and we think he's going to be a special player as well. So we've got a little bit with one kid being a big kid plugger, hard to move out of there, and then our second nose guard is a little smaller, but he's athletic and quick and can cause some problems.
Not the results you wanted last Saturday, I'm sure, but just what were they doing that made things a little difficult for you?
You know, I don't want to sound like, you know, they're a great team, and they're very well coached, and they came out and played very well. A lot of things we go back to look at, we put onus on ourselves. We just made mistakes that are uncharacteristic of us. I want to talk a little bit about our style of play and being disciplined. We weren't that. And that's what we got to go back to the drawing board. And as a defensive coordinator and our coaching staff, we've got to do a lot better job and getting our guys prepared. There was just a lot of miscommunication and errors that you can't have in football, no matter how good team you are. It's going to give you problems. And defensively, when you make mistakes, they turn to touchdowns. And so we've got to shore that up this week. And the guys will be ready. They're focused. They're not happy with their play, and they're ready to go to work tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate you coming on.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, Coach, you line it up again next Saturday against Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're excited to be back home, that's for sure. It's always fun to play at Jay Christensen Stadium and with all the great crowds that we get. And we know we've got another powerful team coming in. You know, they just lost to St. Thomas this past weekend. St. Thomas has been kind of the perennial power in our league and made it to the Stag Bowl last year with a good chunk of their players back. And in Eau Claire, what we saw in film is Eau Claire, they hung in there in that first quarter. They were actually up 6-0. St. Thomas had blocked a PAT. And really the second quarter, St. Thomas kind of started opening it up. But Dan Larson, the new head football coach at Eau Claire, traditionally Wisconsin school teams are big and physical. And Dan was the offensive coordinator at University of Minnesota Duluth prior. And so looks like he's running the offense because it's very similar. We'll see a lot of zone read and speed option stuff. They got a very athletic quarterback, and that quarterback coming out of high school at Hopkins was actually, he went to Duluth. Then he transferred to Eau Claire a year ago, so we saw him a year ago, and so him and Dan reunite, if you will. But they run the ball hard. They got good sides up front. Defensively, their D coordinator was at Wisconsin River Falls. They're kind of a 3-4 scheme, and we now have to prepare for that after seeing an even front from Jamestown this past week. But they'll be physical, they'll play hard, and we're excited about getting back on the field. I mean, if we could get back there today, we'd get back there today because we just don't feel well about the way that Jamestown game went, and we're a better football team than that, and we want to show that on Saturday.
The Cobbers will be back in action September 10th at Jay Christensen Stadium with a 1 o'clock kickoff. I'd like to thank Herbert and Gerbert for the sponsorship, and this has been the Concordia College Football Show with Coach Terry Horan.